Next is tuples. So what are tuples? What are the various operations on a tuple? So like in the first class for data types in Python, we had discussed all these data types and I had explained what tuples are. So good afternoon everybody. So what we are going to study now is various operations on a tuple. See, tuple is a very simple thing. It's just like a list. But the only thing is it is immutable. Tuples cannot be changed. No changes, no updations, no deletions can be made on a tuple. If you want to change a tuple, you have to create a new tuple. So let's say I have this tuple of numbers. So tuples are represented in parentheses or the curved brackets. So when I run this and print my tuple, I get this thing. So sorting a tuple is not possible. When I'll do this, I'll get an error saying that tuple has no attribute as sort, because in a tuple you cannot make any changes. So sorting is also a kind of change. It is kind of an updation that you are making to a tuple, so which is not possible. That's why it throws an error, because sort is not one of the attributes or one of the functions that tuple accepts. Now how indexing works in a tuple. Indexing in tuples. So the same way like we do indexing in Python, indexing in lists, same way the indexing in tuples also work. So let's say I want to access the index 0. So at index 0 I have an element called 1. At index 2 I have an element called 2. So at index 2 I have element 3, not 2. At index 1 I have element 2. So when I say reverse indexing, again reverse indexing also same, just like in the lists. So the last element would have the index as -1. So when I say -1, I get -1. Let's say I try updating the tuple like we did in indexing in the lists. How we update a list, we pick up an index and assign a new value to that particular index. Let's say I want to change the first index, the 0th index, to change to value 10. So how would I do it? In a normal list, how would I do it? I'll pick up the index and assign the value to 10. But when I'm doing is, so it says tuple object does not support item assignment. So this indicates that tuples are immutable. That's what a perfect example is, show that tuples cannot be changed. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or updation of a tuple is not possible. But yes, I can extend a tuple, but it would be possible only if I create a new tuple. Let's say I'm adding some value to a tuple. Adding some elements to a tuple. But if I would print the tuple, let's say I print the tuple, my tuple remains the same. Understand, my tuple remains the same. But if I just do this thing, elements will get added to my tuple. 10 and 2 got added to my tuple, but my tuple remained the same. This way, what I am doing is, if I create a new tuple, let's say tuple t1, and assign it to t plus 10, 2, then tuple t1 would be a new tuple which has 2 more elements, 10 and 2, added to it. But if I still check my tuple t and also check my tuple t1, I will get 2 different set of tuples. So my original tuple didn't get updated. We actually created a new tuple. So again, tuples are immutable. That's the biggest question that is asked in every interview, that what is the difference between a list and a tuple. The first answer that you have to give is not that it is in parentheses, lists are in square brackets. No. The first answer should be that tuples are immutable. Tuples cannot be changed. Lists are mutable. Lists can be changed. So here's a perfect example that you can give to your instructor, give to your interviewer or your mentor or anybody if you are training someone on explaining the difference between a tuple and a list, it's that tuples are immutable, and this is the example that you can give by making a new tuple. Now, you cannot delete elements from a tuple. If I'll go ahead and delete something from a tuple, it won't happen because tuples do not support deletion. If I delete a element from the last element I want to delete and I pick up the last index, I cannot delete it because tuples are immutable. Again, remove doesn't work on a tuple. Again, pop doesn't work on tuple, which definitely work on a list. So you can perform all the indexing operations on a tuple. Tuple is generally something when I mean to say that you use a tuple when your data is highly secure and you cannot allow anyone to make any change to that thing. Then only tuples are used. So that's all on tuples. So that's it. I'll stop the recording.